All right. Happy Saturday morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. We got a game. We got a game tomorrow. We don't know exactly when quite yet. Could be 1, could be 2:30. But we know we have a game. We're playing a home game against the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams 2 and 3. Of course, I think we feel a little bit better about our 2 and 3 record than they do, given the situation that they're in compared to the situation that we're in. But regardless, both teams are 2 and 3. And both teams are probably looking at this as kind of a pivotal game for their season. I think that both teams, you look at this game and go, if we lose, I think it sets us on a path that puts us towards that top 10 pick. If we win, then maybe we can go make a play for something at least notable this season. So this is a big game for both teams, no doubt about it. And there's definitely going to be some interesting theater to be had. And this was a game that I thought we were going to win before the season started. Things seemed like they were shaping up for it. I wasn't that impressed with Arizona's team. And I knew they weren't going to have DeAndre Hopkins because of his suspension. And most of those things have actually held true. They don't have D-Hop. We know that. We knew that anyway. And the Cardinals have not started out this season that well. They have a couple wins, but even when they've won, to my eye, they've been very dysfunctional. It's been very clunky. I watched a good chunk of their win against the Panthers, and it was a pretty ugly game by both sides. People just it was just a battle of who can not lose the game. It was not something that impressed me that much. And their other win was the ridiculous comeback against the Raiders that, for many different reasons, never should have happened. The things that it took for them to barely sneak away with that win were kind of off the charts crazy. So I know they've lost to good teams. They've lost to the Chiefs. They lost to the Rams. And by the way, the Rams don't even look that good so far. And they lost to the Eagles on a missed last-second field goal that would have forced OT. That probably should have been an OT game. And hey, that game, Arizona, their defense impressed. Their defense was impressive in that game, but overall, I look at the body of work of this team. I see a team that is regretting those contract extensions they gave out in the offseason to their GM, coach, and quarterback. When you do those things, it's time to go for it. And if the Cardinals, if this is the best they can do in a go-for-it year, that's really bad. So I am going to say this right now. I'm going to hold to that. I'm going to say we get this win on Sunday. I'm going to say we go to 3-3. And there are a couple reasons why. Cardinals, not a team that is going to destroy you on the ground, really. Even Kyler, who is a very much mobile threat, is not the mobile threat that he was when he was younger. I know he's still young. When he was younger, he was more dangerous than he is now. And the Cardinals are down to the nub at running back. You've got Eno Benjamin and some other guys that I know even less about than Eno Benjamin. So it's a team that doesn't run the ball a ton anyway. So I'm looking at their passing attack. I'm looking at our cornerbacks that have held up well so far overall this year. Maybe not Kobe, but even Kobe's out there making plays and doing his best. So I'm looking at this... I'm looking at this secondary and thinking that they can match up pretty well with what Arizona has at receiver. Arizona's a team that barely ever goes deep. Arizona's a team that likes to keep everything short and intermediate. I'm hoping our defense shows some awareness of this. This defense has been embarrassed a few games in a row now. And I'm hoping that they look at this game and go, they don't go deep very much without DeAndre Hopkins. They keep everything short and intermediate. Let's get up. Let's play aggressively. Let's not worry about always taking away over the top. And let's force them to maybe come out of their comfort zone a little bit. If they're going to be running this West Coast offense where everything is just quick, make it hard for them. Don't give them the easy completions. And obviously, we don't have a great track record of doing stuff like that. This defense has typically always worked very hard to prevent the big play above all else. But I'm hoping this week we see something a little bit different against this particular opponent. I like our secondary against those receivers. Obviously, I'm hoping you can get Tariq Woolen on A.J. Green more often, because if he has to go against somebody like a Hollywood Brown, then that's not as good a matchup for him. But realistically, at this point, you look at Tariq Woolen and how well he's playing and how much he's playing above expectations. I think you kind of have to say, look, whatever challenge you put across from him, just let him take it on and see what he can do. He's held up against everything so far, including some stuff I didn't think he would be able to do. And I love the guy. I love him. He's maybe my favorite draft pick the Seahawks have ever made at the time that we made it. And still, he's ahead of my expectations at this point, by far. So I'm willing to live with that. Michael Jackson, I've been over this in the coverage videos. He's actually having a really decent year. Maybe even a little better than decent, honestly. I know he's not the playmaker, but he is holding up in coverage. So if Arizona decides to stick to their usual modus operandi of keeping everything kind of short and intermediate and not pounding the ball excessively, which they really won't want to do without their running backs, then I think the defense will be okay. When I say okay, I don't mean the pass rush. I'm going to say that. I'm going to get that out of the way. I don't have a lot of hope for this pass rush. These edge rushers, Darrell Taylor, he's going to play, but he does have a neck injury. It's not going to help. So I know there's something going on with his health, which, uncomfortable for sure. Nwosu's good, but no Alton Robinson still. Daryl Johnson's a ways away. We're probably going to see some Bruce Irvin straight off the couch in this game. Good luck, Bruce. I think he'll be okay, but I'm not expecting a ton of pressure from the outside against pretty good Arizona tackles. Their tackle combo, it's DJ Humphrey and I think Beachum. Pretty good. Pretty good. Not expecting a lot there. And with Shelby Harris and Al Woods wounded, it's going to be an uphill battle to test even the interior of that offensive line that is not that good. The interior of that offensive line in Arizona, without Rodney Hudson, who I don't think will play, is not that good. So, yet again, I'm looking at this pass rush and I'm trying to figure out where it's going to come from. The only thing I have is the blitz. And you want to be careful with the blitz against a good offense or at least a talented offense like the Cardinals have. I don't know if it's a good offense, but it's certainly not a terrible one or anything like that. Obviously, that's playing with fire. But if you want to get some pressure, I feel like that's going to be the only way. Send Brooks on the blitz, send Barton on the blitz, do some cornerback blitzes with Kobe because he's shown an ability to do that. I don't know how else you get pressure in this game. I can't imagine you get pressure with your front. I don't see it. And speaking of Jordan Brooks, this is a big game for him because a big reason why you drafted him was to deal with Kyler Murray for the next decade. You wanted a fast linebacker who could keep up with Kyler on QB contains. So when you do the QB contains, the QB spies, Brooks needs to hold Kyler in the pocket, make it so he can't get outside, and start making things happen with his legs. And Brandon on the Hawks Nest brought this up on our stream the other night. He's done it before, literally, in college, when Oklahoma played Texas Tech. So that is going to be a very interesting moment for him. Can he hold up without the help of Bobby Wagner? There's no more Bobby. There's no more KJ Wright. Jordan Brooks needs to take a leadership role in this defense now. And now he's facing against the guy who I think is the main reason why you drafted him. I think you were looking at Kyler Murray and thinking, we're going to have to deal with this guy for a while. Let's get a linebacker who can keep contain on him. And also, you were looking at that Niners run game with Kyle Shanahan and thinking, we need a linebacker who can help against the run against them. Well, that makes this game important for Jordan Brooks to show what he can do in that capacity. And on offense, I'm feeling okay. Byron Murphy Jr. showed up on the injury report on Friday. If he plays, he's not 100%. And even if he is 100%, he's playing outside corner and nickel corner for this Cardinals defense, it looks like. So it's not possible for him to be a great fit for both positions. I think he's better as a nickel. This is another thing we went over on the stream the other night. So when he's on the outside, Metcalf, Lockett, who both look like they're completely healthy. They didn't show up on the injury report. At least 98% healthy. Got to eat on them. Got to eat on them. The Cardinals historically have been a team that doesn't work very hard to defend tight ends. I remember in previous years, year after year, their defense would get lit up by tight ends. So you have a team now that is utilizing tight ends better than you did before. You're utilizing 3 tight ends effectively. Disley, Fant, and Parkinson. So keep doing it. Sometimes, the way I put it was, sometimes it seems like the Cardinals' strategy to defend tight ends is don't even bother. Just let it happen. So if they decide to come out with something like that, again, you now have the tools to punish them. So given the fact that their other cornerback in this game is going to be Marco Wilson, who's having a pretty miserable year so far, they're weak in the middle of their defense for the most part because neither of their highly drafted inside linebackers in Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons are returning that much. They're both just kind of mediocre players right now. There are a lot of areas you should be able to attack this Cardinals on defense. You should be able to throw on them to the outside, should be able to throw to tight ends. And given the fact that they have weaknesses in the front seven of their defense, they've got Zach Allen and they've got J.J. Watt. Those guys are playing good. That's it. Like everyone else on that Cardinals defense, you look at it, and I guess Byron Murphy's playing pretty well. But even Budda Baker's not having his best season so far. Now, we know how good Budda Baker can be. I understand that. But overall, it just hasn't been a particularly great defense yet. And there are a lot of areas you should be able to attack them, like I said, not just through the air. But Ken Walker, it's your time. I think that now that we've lost Penny for the year, and now that we are down to the testing our running back depth because Homer's out too, you want to stick to that pass-first offense where Geno's throwing the ball around the field. He's proven he can handle it, and he's proven you can win with it, and he's also proven that he can take the load off the running backs and not make them carry the ball 50 times a game. So continue to do that. Don't wear him out. When I look at Ken Walker, I don't see the present. I see the future. So definitely stick to that. But run the ball too, because I think you can run the ball on this Cardinals team. We're going to have Phil Haynes in there. He's going to be on that right side with Abraham Lucas. You could try to run the ball behind those two guys. You're probably going to have success. At some point in this game, if things aren't going well with Phil Haynes on the right side, maybe you see us throw Jay Curhan in there, and then you're really going to be able to run on the right side. Those two guys have shown flashes of absolute dominance as run blockers. So if it comes to that, sign me up for that. And that's really about it. I have some degree of faith in this offense. I just do. At this point, I think they deserve a little bit of freedom to just say, I think they're going to do fine, because they've been doing fine for several games now. And I think that even if the defense struggles again, which is a very reasonable expectation, this offense is going to do enough to still win the game. And special teams, by the way, don't forget, the Cardinals don't have their kicker. That can affect this game. That could be 1 point here, 3 points there. Oh, Seahawks win by 3 when they should have lost by 1. Like, that can easily happen if they don't trust their new kicker, or if the new kicker doesn't get it done. So we'll see if that ends up having an effect. The Seahawks have been beaten in the special teams battle for a couple games now. Got to put a stop to it. And this is a great opportunity to do so against a team that doesn't have their kicker. So I'm going to say, I feel like I'm kind of walking into a trap here. I'm going to talk myself into the defense playing a little bit better. And then they're going to be the same defense that gave up 39 points to Andy Dalton and give up like 45 to Arizona. I feel like I'm walking into it, but you know what? Even if that happens, maybe Geno will put up 50. So I'm going to say the Seahawks win. I'm feeling okay. I think we can take advantage of some of the dysfunction on the Arizona side. Probably get some turnovers. And I'm going to say we find our way to the win. Move to 3-3. Some people aren't going to be thrilled about it because it really starts taking us out of the top of the draft consideration. But again, I'm going to say I'm not going to worry about that right now. And I don't think you guys should either. Just enjoy the ride. Try to enjoy the ride. And we'll deal with draft stuff in the off season. But for right now, let's try to win what we can. Let's try to do what we can. And I say we can get it done this weekend. All right. See you guys later. Peace out. Go Hawks. Enjoy college football today. Enjoy the Mariners playoff game. Could be the last one. We don't know. And I'll catch y'all later. Go Hawks.